Hello and welcome to another Abyss review. As before, I'm gonna be shrinking the camera so that you don't see that I'm reading off a script. Yeah, today, as the title suggests, we're looking at the new 3.7 Abyss. Before heading into it, I saw a lot of people raging against this Abyss and how annoying and difficult it is, and how the Abyss difficulty is ramping up as we go. Which raised a few alarms, but until I tried it myself, I held any conclusive opinions away. But I did head into the Abyss with some caution. Overall, I think that people are fully and definitely overreacting, although this is a very common occurrence on the first days when a new Abyss comes out until people figure out the strategies to easily take care of it. This happens in the early days, definitely. Last time, the multiple waves of enemies on the first chamber of floor 12 was the major pain point. So let's see how the enemy changes affect that. Floors 9 and 10 remain unchanged, so on to floor 11. Immediately we go until 4.0 comes out. We most likely won't see an enemy change there. Floor 11 starts with a monolith defense chamber. It has been a while since we had one, actually, and it did catch me slightly off guard, and I had to retry it once. The first half is chock full of specters, a few meta churls, and most importantly, a cryo lava churl. This guy spawns in the third and last wave where you would normally spawn, so like center back of the key, let's say. So head over to that side as quickly as possible in order to get his aggro, else the monolith is as good as dead. He deals too much damage, and if you don't grab his aggro, he'll just slam the monolith and destroy it. So main point here, grab his attention. The specters aren't much of a problem, they don't do that much damage, and even if they have a lot of elemental variety, unless you are bringing a mono element team, you should be good. Half the team might be, half the team might not be doing damage, but the other half will, and it's floor 11, so they don't have much health. Also, remember, no timer here, with the specters needing time to explode and count as a kill, no timer here, just pay attention to the monolith's health, so all good. Second half has some Eremites and the new Hilichurls. They are super easily defeated and no problems there. It's just beat them up. On the second chamber, there is a total of one Electro Abyss Lector. Okay? He easily dies. I don't know, one guy. Well, on the second half, you have a bunch of the big mushroom enemies and some of the Spirit Summoner Eremites. We saw these guys in floor 12 last time, but now they have moved on to floor 11 and they are much easier to kill. Last time on floor 12, they grouped up with the other normal Eremites and they destroyed you with like the tons of auras. But here, not the case, easily killable. And on the last chamber of floor 11, there is one Flying Ruin Drake and one Mirror Maiden. I don't know what's with the low numbers, but it's a free half, not gonna lie. And on the second half, there is a trio of Abyss Mages of different elements, and then two Hydro Abyss Heralds. This is a pretty easy floor, 11, without any important elemental counters, a la bosses like the Hypostasis, and other bosses like that. Yes, there are the Hydro Heralds I just mentioned, but it's floor 11. You will get to their shield phase really quickly, so, it's very easy. You have lots of time to kill them, to destroy their shields afterwards. Also, in all of floor 11, Anemo obliterates it, so bring that if you want to have a super easy time. So yeah, it's not a hard floor 11. Again, no like super elemental counter like elemental bosses like Hydro Hypostasis, Dendro Hypostasis, and that sort of thing. Like the Hydro Heralds, Electro, Dendro, Cryo, like Pyro, everything destroys them, right? So chill. And with that, let's get to floor 12. The first chamber is where you will find most of the trouble in completing this abyss, so actually, the enemy changes did not change that fact as I mentioned at the beginning. But the first half of the first chamber contains a total of 15 enemies spawning in multiple waves. The enemies, though, are Whopper Flowers and the Ruined Doritos, as many like to call them. It's the Primal Constructs. AoE is a big yes here to take care of this half quickly, because the way the enemies spawn will waste a lot of your time if you have, a very single targeted focused team. AoE is it will easily do it, and Whopper Flowers and the Doritos don't have much health. Like, don't worry about that. Bring some AoE. But the one big note here, if you wish to absolutely obliterate this half, um, then bring Venti. I easily manage 1 minute to sub 1 minute clears with him. Like, easily the best. Kazuha most likely does well as well, but Venti is king here, right? Even if the Doritos can't be stunned by an MOCC, Venti's ultimate brings them together for a very satisfying combo and just destroys them. I brought Yaya, Al-Haytham, Fischl, and Venti just to easily destroy them. My freaking goodness. Absolutely obliterated. Like, Venti destroys this, and trust me, you will need that time you will be saving because of him or of your AoE and team, because on the second half, await 2 Abyss Mages, Hydro and Cryo, and then 3 Abyss Heralds, 2 of which are Cryo, and 1 is Hydro. So get a hitter ready, because your ass is getting frozen. This is where the frustration of many people comes from, and I agree, but I tested many teams and I saw some very interesting results. And I have plenty of recommendations here to help you out because of through those results. First, no matter what, I found out that focusing the Hydro Herald is the best thing. He spawns exactly where you spawn, so again, middle, like from the center, right? And just rush to him and destroy his ass. Because amidst all the freezing and chaos from all the Herald's attacks, his cooldown increase will fuck you, so take him out and don't worry. The Cry Heralds will come, will follow him to come beat your ass. Right, this is a big one. Like, I saw that the main problem actually I was facing is that it wasn't the elemental application, it's the motherfucker increasing my cooldowns. But once he was gone, the end. The end, seriously. Second is some team recommendations. No, surprisingly, you won't need a bunch of pyro for these guys, even if there are 2 Cryo Heralds. The main combo you should utilize is Bennett and Kazuha, since using Kazuha's burst while standing in Bennett's ult will always make Kazuha's ult infused with pyro because of swirl priority. And this works even if the Heralds have their shields up, because the priority for swirl is the element that is applied on Kazuha. Self-applied elements are the key, so because you're standing in Bennett's ult and it constantly infuses Kazuha with pyro, the ultimate is always infused with pyro, which helps a ton. Also, Bennett is a very good pyro player himself because he has a very low skill cooldown, right? But be very careful, since you are constantly self-applied by pyro, you will get vaped and melted. But the good thing is that depending on your Bennett build, if he's in the DPS, he can be very, very tanky and heal a lot if you just have like 2 HP, a goblet and a circle with HP, and then maybe energy recharge on the sands. He heals a lot, he's very tanky, so you can use him to tank the attacks. Also, of course, use burst iframes. This is the biggest one, right? But Bennett is super good. I tried a Diluc team. I brought Bennett, Diluc, Xingqiu, and Kazuha, and they did splendidly against these guys. If you want, you can bring a shielder like a Zhongli or somebody really powerful, maybe even a Toma, for triple pyro, in order to protect Diluc more, because he's your main source of a lot of pyro application. But Xingqiu was there because I was testing some other teams. But Xingqiu's here for more damage, so that you quickly bring the Heralds to their shield phase, and also he gives you damage reduction and resistance to interruption, which is, basically kind of a shield. But yeah, like, this was a really standard team, using the combo of Kazuha and Bennett for the ult, and then Diluc just applying so much pyro. The only thing that needed to happen is protecting Diluc. And again, if you bring somebody like Zhongli, if you're standing in Bennett's ult, the vapes and melts will be a problem, but you actually won't get frozen, right? Because Bennett's ult constantly applying pyro on you gets rid of freeze. That's a big plus. But still be careful because of the vapes, right? I also tried Vivi Huta, which is Toma, Hutao, Xingqiu, and Kazuha. They did very well as well. It's harder to infuse Kazuha's burst here constantly with pyro. because you can't use the Bennett trick nor self-applying pyro. Nothing like that exists. But if you time your stuff really well, you most likely will apply pyro with Toma and then swirl it up with Kazaha. But because you have lots of pyro still here with Toma and Hutao, and then Kazaha just swirling stuff, this team does very well, actually. It's pretty good. But all of these teams, both of these teams with tons of pyro, pale in comparison, and I am serious, to my Al Haytham, double Dendro, and double Electro team. Yes, this team destroyed all of the second halves of Floor 12, which surprised me a lot. I used Yao Yao, Al Haytham, Fischl, and Beidou, and here this team absolutely decimates the Hydro Herald, and then the fast attacking Al Haytham drives Fischl and Beidou really well in destroying the Cryo Shields. So yeah, and Beidou is also a Claymore, so she can also be the one attacking it to break the Cryo Shields more. So yeah, you don't need Pyro for this chamber, which was the main suggestion. Nope, you don't. A ton of Electro is very good, and Dendro is the main counter for Hydro Shield, so this team absolutely decimated them. I also tested my Kave Virgin team, consisting of Yao Yao, Kave, Xingqiu, and Toma, so full 4-star team, and they also did really well, since this is a team with very good elemental variety, and also Yao Yao is incredible at tanking these Heralds. She's very naturally tanky, and her ultimate just constantly heals her, like, she's not going down. And Kave is a monster if you have Bloom cores constantly exploding. Like, seriously, he did not die. The main problem with Diluc and Kave is the Cryo Heralds slowing you down, but with Bennett, number one, you get rid of the Cryo Aura, so it's mostly a problem with Kave. So yeah, I did try actually bringing Bennett instead of Xingqiu, but I had an energy problem. So, or Yao Yao instead of Yao Yao, I don't remember exactly what it was. But my Kave is running Mailed Flower, so something like a Favonius Greatsword could actually work for this team. So, Bennett, Kave, Xingqiu, and Toma with a very energy recharge focused Kave, I think you could actually beat this chamber with this Kave Virgin team. But yeah, as you can see, these are some teams that can defeat these guys very quickly. But there are lots of other variants. But again, not a ton of Pyro needed. Yes, ton of Pyro will help, but fuck it, the Al Haytham team did the best. Seriously. Some RNG might be involved in the movements and attacks of the Heralds, because they like to move a lot and do a lot of attacks that like move around. But I saw actually a decently consistent time in this half, like defeating this half. So, yeah, in a lot of tries. So, yeah. So the only thing that matters after that is, after you choose your team, is the time to complete the first half. Either you choose a team that is slightly slower on the second half, but you, like, put Venti and obliterate the first half, or focus a bit more on AoE in the first half, like, take a bit more time, and then bring a really fast one for the second half. You get the idea. I was surprised by the results. And, yeah. Oh, that was a lot, but seeing so many complaints about the Heralds, it means that we gotta talk about them, because, we gotta talk about them extensively, because people bitching and being like, I can't defeat them, and I'm like, well, here's one team with all 4 stars, here's a team with only 1 5-star, here's that. People were like, oh, you 100% need Dendro for the second half. I'm like, what? I brought Huta. I brought Vivi Huta. Where's the Dendro there? I brought the Diluc team. If I had a whole fucking gravestone, it would have easily defeated the other halves. Actually, I think that even with my Serpent Spine, it can actually defeat the other halves. It's just that I want a Wolf's Gravestone. But yeah, like, there's so many teams. You don't necessarily need Electro. You don't necessarily need Dendro. You don't necessarily need Pyro. So everybody's a fucking liar. Yep. Hey, I tested it, it worked. Fuck you. Alright then. Done with the fucking first chamber. To the second chamber we go. We have 2 bosses here, one-on-one. The first half has the Dendro Chicken, and the second half has the Electro Bat. Lots of animals. Super easy chamber, with only note for me being that Electro seems to be the best against the chicken, since when it's Electro, then like active or whatever, it gets staggered after it runs, it falls down. Because I tested like a really pyro heavy team once, and it didn't stop attacking. Like it was constantly on fire, and he would constantly throw out bullshit and stuff. And I'm like, chill, brother, chill. And if you bring Bennett, you'll get burning on you, which can destroy you. Be careful with that. So yeah, Illithra was the best one here, although many other teams defeated it. Vivi Hutao did super well, of course. And like Al Haytham Seno. I brought Baizu Seno and stuff, and it easily killed it. It's just that, I was kind of surprised. I thought that both Pyro and Electro were like equally good, but it seems not. Also, for the bat, it has a set rotation of attacks. Like it basically always does the same thing. So try observing it in order to defeat it easily. And yes, I did destroy it with the Al Haytham team. Even with 2 Electros, Al Haytham and Yao Yao absolutely easily took care of it. Yeah, this bird, no health, destroyed. The good thing with Al Haytham is that he has his dash right through his skill, so it can actually catch up. He can actually catch up. Also, not very stamina. This team isn't very dependent on stamina, so the Cryo Heralds, fuck them. I don't need my stamina. The bird runs around, don't give a shit. I just need 1 charge attack. So yeah, easily, super easy chamber, very good. And last chamber, on the first half there are 2 waves of consecrated beasts, both being the tiger and the crocodile. So in total, 4 enemies, 2 and 2, tiger and crocodile. This is 12-3, so they are tanky and deal a lot of damage. But surprisingly, I didn't have much trouble against them. I think I have gotten used to them, that's one thing. And I did and easy with many teams. But yeah, I think I've gotten used to them. But also, I have a tip here, is that stick to the crocodile. Whenever I focus the tiger, I saw that the crocodile's attack to get close to you, which is like he swims like this, it was 100% more annoying and lethal than the tiger. Seriously. Like the tiger might just run towards you or jump. This bitch like swims and just pushes you. And like also comes out and like slams, and like it was 100% more annoying. So yeah, focus on the crocodile. Just beat his ass. And fucking forget the tiger. The tiger the tiger will come close to you, and he'll just get caught up in your AOE. So yeah, it's also easy to get into a corner, and they'll just group up over there. So actually, not that difficult. I don't know, compared to the last Abyss, they were just the last wave of a 3-wave thing on the second half. That was the annoying part. It wasn't that they were super duper hard. Is that there you were so stressed and focused on the time because 2 waves were before that, right? And I think that was the main problem with them. Yeah, so that was the main problem before, and now it seems actually kind of easier, although these can and will eat up your time. Like, it's fucking 4 consecrated beasts. But it's actually okay, because on the second half, we have a new challenger approaching, and it's the Baptist boss from the new area. Well, it's a last patch new area, but it's still the newest area. This guy is changed from the overworld version, which is not a good idea in like gameplay design, because you're expecting him to start off with the things that he throws, but he fucking doesn't. But thank fuck, they did one thing good. They gave him the weak shield version instead of the strong ones. If you have fought him in the overworld, you most likely know what I mean. But yeah, so actually, he's not that hard. For this guy, you will need a few elements to take care of the shields, which are always Cryo, Hydro, and Pyro in this order. But my main tip here is to bring teams with low rotation times in order to do as much damage to him in between the shield phases. My Al-Hatam team annihilates this guy in less than a minute. Yeah, I can waste 2 minutes on the beast, and this guy gets absolutely destroyed in less than a minute through my Al-Hatam team. Because the Electrodes take care of the Cryo and Pyro shield, while everybody helps in the Hydro one. So, and then, just dealing damage, he disappears. He absolutely disappears, even without using Al Haytham's burst in the full rotation. So yeah, I tried Vivi Hutang, since it has a nice variety of elements, and it did super good and destroyed him because of Hutau's single target damage. And even my Kave Burgeon team destroyed his ass, which was very surprising. Yeah, I basically did like a 2-3-3 on my first tribe, which was Baizu Sen on the first half, and the Kave Burgeon team on the second one. And yeah, like 2-3-3. That's incredible for these teams. Which the Kave Virgin team is kind of a meme, and it's Baizu Sen on the first one. So yeah, this guy is super easy. So don't fear this guy, right? He's incredibly easy, and thankfully this allows you to take more time with the beasts, as I said. So overall, even if the number of beasts is high for 12-3 and they are tanky, the boss makes up for it. And that's floor 12. Again, the main problem is 12-1. But that does allow you to easily test teams against it, right? You test it, you go out, you go back in, right? It's the easy thing. I gave you my tips for this abyss, and if you have any yourself, then drop them in the comments to help others out. I think that we will exit this abyss with half the people really hating it because they can't be bothered to learn rotations and learn the game, to be honest, because as I saw a few comments, out in the overworld and in other parts of the game, like even events, there isn't a need to actually learn the game. People mostly just unga bunga, as it's called. But here in this abyss, you might need to learn a bit more about your rotations and energy management and even just elemental counters a bit better. So yeah, I think that half of the people that really don't want to change their teams as well will really hate it, while the other half will be slightly annoyed by it. But I think actually that slight annoyance is just it was an interesting abyss. Not a first time abyss necessarily. First time like easily completing it, right? You might need 2 to 3 tries or a bit more, but you'll be slightly annoyed. Again, if you are willing to just change your teams a bit and experiment, I think you'll actually just do it. Also, if you're not somebody that really focuses on a kind of characters that you pull, right? If you have a few characters built, you should easily do this abyss. But if you're so desperate on only pulling for these characters or only building some sort of characters, then I think that's kind of your problem, right? And I think it's about time that people start building more characters. Like I've even done it, even if I haven't pulled any new 5 stars. Like seriously, come on, please. So yeah, for me, I am on the latter side, as you can guess. I'm not super angry at it. Like I was angry last time because compared to the previous abyss, like this one doesn't favor a single team archetype because Nilu's in the banners, and we only need to build an abyss only for Nilu Bloom. Like that was the main problem last time. When I brought my Al-Haytham team and saw the results, I was pretty shocked that, yep, no pyro needed actually, even if Yoimiya is in the banners. Right, and because this side has the Electro Bat, it's also not catered towards Yaemiko. So I was like, fuck yes! Also, no Kazuha necessarily needed. Right, I had Venti. You can use Sucrose perhaps. Or even Heizu has a pretty good amount of grouping for the first half and the first chamber. So, yeah. I gotta say that this patch, if you're grabbing like Kazuha or Yaemiko or Al-Haytham or a combination of the three, might be the way for you to defeat this abyss instead of pulling for Yoimiya. Because Yoimiya is super single targeted, and there's 3 Heralds, not 1. Just saying. Just saying. Anyways, that's it from me. Just mentioning that no video for the event because it plainly sucked. And I don't want to elaborate further. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to the channel to help it out. Follow me on Twitch for daily live streams, and there you can hear my thoughts on the event when we're playing it. And I also upload random stuff on Twitter if you wish to follow me there. Goodbye.